So today I'm just hiking out to a place called Gator Hole, and just following the Florida Trail here. And you're gonna see how well it does. So stay tuned. Gonna check out the area out there. There's a camp area. Hopefully I can beat this rain. Hey everybody. So out here in this area, we had a lot of damage done by the hurricanes this past year. As you can tell right through here, you can see tree damage, uprooted trees. So it's kind of hard to distinguish what kind of signs, you know, the Sasquatch would leave, but it's not, you know, uncommon to find the characteristics of their markings, even though we have hurricane damage like this. The structures could be a lot more, how should I say, intricate in how they are built and created, So you just have to, you know, have a keen eye on that sort of thing. So that's what we'll be looking at, and also using all our senses out here this morning, or you know, listening and, you know, smelling and seeing what we see out here. Always looking for you know, tracks and sign all the time, but you know, with the hurricane damage, it is a little harder to, like I said, distinguish between the tree structures. Okay. Now that I'm in the little bit away from the parking area, I'm gonna go ahead and put my back camera on, and we're gonna just turn that on here. Okay, and it's on, and I will start recording. So anything I get behind me, hopefully, will be recorded as well, if anything sneaks up. So we'll get that rolling there. I'm a little bit farther out, but here's an example here of a bowed tree. That's just simply you know, a tree that possibly had some wind damage at one point, got caught up on the other tree there, as you can see, and probably just never got to the sunlight like the rest of them, and, you know, just got caught up there. I know there's a lot of damage. The forestry, or the volunteers, came in probably and cut out a lot of the debris that was in the trail here. So, you know, a lot of human activity going on right here. Made it out here a little ways onto the trail, and been trying to catch the weather radar, and it doesn't look good. It looks like we're going to get some heavy rain here, probably within the next 30-40 minutes. I haven't even made it to the first fire break on this trail here, on the Florida Trail. I think it's a little ways up the trail here, but I'm not gonna risk it. It's gonna be a pretty heavy downpour, and with lightning and so forth. So as you can tell, there's a lot of pine trees around, and these things are like lightning rods. So I'm gonna play it safe and hike it back to the truck. I want to say if I'm not mistaken, I know Desi and is out here with two others, and I think they're out here on this camp, but I'm not sure. I was hopefully going to meet up with them and see how their overnight did. But I'm gonna hike it back to my truck, try to beat the rain before it gets too bad here, and I don't want to get caught out in the middle of it. I didn't pack any little Ziploc bags for my equipment, so I just don't want those getting wet, and with all these mics and stuff and, you know, cameras, I don't want to risk damaging those. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty bad here for a while. I'm not sure how long it's gonna last. They said it's a front coming through, so, but they're predicting like 60 to 70% chance of rain most of the day, so but at least we got out here and hopefully tested out these mics, see how well they do with the cameras. And as you can see, I always carry a Zoom recording all the time. I'm walking out here in case I hear something. I can't get the camera on fast enough to get it audio. As I'm walking back to the my truck, I'm just gonna shoot some video here. A few weeks back, I was out here in this area, and I met a gentleman that was a young guy. His name's Reese, so hopefully he'll contact me back. But we talked for a good while. Okay, gave him my card so he can contact me and check out our website. And had a very interesting story. Him and a buddy of his that were actually camping out in an area that we've gotten a lot of audio from, and they had an experience about 7-8 years ago, he says. It was really interesting, and he wanted to show me the exact location, but I knew the exact location when he was talking about it, and he told me, and absolutely know where that area is at. So hopefully next month here in January we're going to be out in that area, so hopefully we'll get some good stuff. They had an encounter where him and his buddy were in a truck, his truck, and they were driving around out there. It was at night. One of them, they had to go pee real bad. So as they're driving, they're coming out of the camp, and when they made this hard turn on that corner of where that hard turn is, his buddy saw something in the tree line and said, "Hey, what's that over here?" Because he heard rustling, had the windows down. And it was right around this time of year. And so Reese, the one that was driving the truck, he had a big Q-beam type of light. So he hit the light in that direction. And when he did that, there was, I could see a silhouette in the wood line. And then when he hit the light on it, this head turned and stared at him, and it kind of stood up. I don't know if it was squatting, but when it stood up, he goes, those eyes were way up off the ground and a good 6 or 8 inches apart on the eyes, and they had a slight eye reflection, red eye reflection. And when he did that and kind of stared at him, he goes, then it bolted through the woods there. And he said, man, when he said that thing took off, he said it sounded like a bulldozer basically going through the woods. Scared the crap out of them. They ended up turning around and going back to camp, made a huge fire, sat around the campfire the rest of the night just trying to figure out what the heck they just saw. So, and back then they kind of chalked it up to like a joke that it could have been a Bigfoot or Sasquatch. until he ran into me. And so I gave him a little bit of history of the area around here. And so that kind of acknowledged that what they saw, there was, couldn't have been anything else. It wasn't a hog or a bear or anything else that size. They're good old boys, and they know what all those sounds mean and what they are. He says it just freaked them out, shocked them, and they often wondered what the heck it was. So I told him, I said, it's probably 99% of what you saw was a Sasquatch. So, little history on the area where that happened. There's a gentleman across the way, has private property, and he has deer feeders on his property, and he allows people to come in during hunting season and go deer hunting. So I'm thinking, just speculating, that this thing was sitting there waiting for deer to come up to the corn feeders, so it can pounce on the deer and kill them, and so that's just speculation, but that might be somewhat true, hopefully. I mean, that's what I'm gathering. What other reason why something would be sitting in that general area where I know that area is, somewhat facing the direction of that property that has the deer feeders on it. So I gave him a little history on what we found out there in that area, audio recordings and past history of footprints being found on the road out there. So he found that very intriguing and pretty much answered his question on what they saw that night. So I'm hoping he'll contact me, because he was supposed to get with his other buddy that was with him that night or that weekend. And I told him, I said, I'd love to have you to write up your report and send it to us, and we'll keep it anonymous, and put it on our site. But it's good to know that there's some action still out in that area, and that just helps us even more. Hey guys, just wanted to show you something here. I found something interesting here, but I got looks like an imprint right here, pretty good size. Well, it's about 6 or 8 inches long. Could have been anything, doesn't really appear to be Sasquatch related, but there's another imprint right there. But it kind of looks to me that could be a boot or a shoe. So I wouldn't jump out and say that's Sasquatch or Bigfoot, but I'm gonna continue down this little fire break right here, see if I can find any kind of sign or tracks here. Well guys, the little fire break kind of petered out, started filling up with water. There's a little cypress hammock over here, and so it gets pretty low over there. It's pretty low, and you got about ankle deep water over there already, so don't want to get wet right now. Even though these snake boots are waterproof, but I wasn't seeing any sign even through the water where it was underwater. But still checking this area out. There's a lot of game trails that maneuver in between. And the Florida Trail's over this way, and across this road over here goes in some neighbors over here, but a lot of game trails. So I'm gonna hike back, maybe check maybe the other side of the main road here, and check around the waterways there, and See if there's any sign over that way as well. There we are walking back. Obviously that's a horse track. Horse print. A lot of horse people come through here pretty often. It's been a kind of a warm winter again here in Florida. Let me show you these little tadpole things. They're pretty cool, aren't they? It's pretty neat. Isn't that cool? I feel the vibration of my feet and they start wiggling around. There's some more here. There's a nice sized deer track in here too. There's a couple of dead ones. Not sure if the deer or hog, I'm pretty sure a hog would eat them. Not sure how deer would like those. Sasquatch might like them. Probably some good protein there. Even though we got a little blue sky popping in and out of the clouds here, we are getting that feeling in the air of the rain. So it's coming. That's what they call the calm before the storm. But as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that. You can see kind of down to the bottom. Sometimes you want to look through, even though it's got a lot of water in here. You can definitely see prints still, and it'll be hard to cast, but of course hard has been done. I never tried it myself underwater, but yeah, this, as you can tell, this is the green swamp, and they call it a swamp for a reason. We're about to get a lot more rain, so I would imagine this is going to get a lot worse here, and a lot of the Florida trail is going to get underwater as well. So it makes it a little rough to get out and do this stuff. This is interesting. This looks like possibly maybe a deer might have been curled up in here at night, protecting himself. There's another one there. Deer do that a lot. Hog would do it too, but not seeing a lot of hog activity right here. There was some further that way, but there's like 3 spots here. 1, 2, 3. No, deer will do that. I came up on a fawn one time in Ocala. I was kind of in a little area like this, and I almost walked right past it until it made a noise, and I kind of turned. It was at night, of course, hiking the trails at night. I had no lights on. Just heard a noise, so I figured I'd turn my little flashlight on it, have a look and see what it was. And it was probably about from here maybe to that tree right there. A little fawn curled up, and I'm looking at him. I was like, where's your mama? But I'm sure mama was close. But cute little fella. So now right here, this is pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. That could be a hog waller right there too. That's good. 18, 19 inches long. Pretty good size. I'm not saying that that's a Sasquatch print at all. Actually, now that I come to think of it, there's one here and probably more there. So what you have to realize too is I'm walking on a fire break, and these fire breaks are created by the forestry or water management, what have you. No, they'll come in here, and as you can see, it goes around this curve. And what they use is a tractor to do that with. Pretty good sized tractor, and they till up the ground, kind of like farmers do. They till up the ground for the fields. Well, they use pretty much the same type of machinery to make fire breaks. So that little indentation there in the ground is the tire tread of the tractor. And when you see a repeated incidents in the ground like that, and you think, oh, it could be a track, you know, it could be a Bigfoot track. But as you see the consistency of the same type of print, and you look down the road a little bit more, you can understand that, yeah, that's a tractor tire print. So don't let that mess you up when you're out here tracking around looking for sign. But always look for the toes, you know, good size. But anyhow, there's a tip for you. And yeah, I'm gonna keep walking up through here. Now here we're getting close to the busy road, as you can see. Of course, there's some tree damage here. Once again, I'm not saying that's made by Bigfoot, but a lot of times a lot of people have road sighting encounters, and this would be pretty close. I would assume that one would be able to walk across this road. There's little barbed wire remnants of a fence there, but well, this kind of parallels the main road here to keep the fire away from jumping across to the other side of the road here. That's why they do fire breaks. So I'm assuming this will go around and meander around some more. So looks pretty dry. So okay, I'm just gonna show you something here real quick. All the while walking down this fire break, there's a fencing all the way through here, barbed wire, until right about here, and then it's gone. There are some trees, limbs that are down, but there's nothing that indicates that something fell on the fence here. I've been checking the fence all the way down, checking to see if I see any kind of hair. But right here, it's completely gone. This would be an area here, I would assume any kind of animal would probably ventured across right here. You know, at night, you'd be pretty much concealed right here to cross. And as you can tell how the road noise is, they would just have to listen to the cars coming and know when to dart across. So as you can see, there's a cypress hammock back here, real thick back there, probably full of water as well. And I know what you're thinking. You see the X up here, that's all natural stuff by the lovely hurricanes we had, and more than likely that's what you're going to see pretty often out here. So I'm going to walk right up here. Looks like there's water here, so I'm just going to check here, see if there's any tracks around that. Here we are coming up to that cypress hammock area. Not seeing anything here. I see a lot of deer track. Possibly some hog in there as well. A lot of hogs out here, believe it or not. Okay, so this is pretty full right here, and interesting enough, you see how the I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's the fencing's right here too, and there is a culvert pipe going across the road. Let's see if you can see that or not. That tells you how wet this can be. You can see on the cypress trees there how high the water was. Looks like maybe a good 3 or 4 feet. You look across here, you see the water lines on the tree. So that's why they got the snake boots on, because you're walking around a lot of water here, and there's tons of moccasins out here. And pygmy rattlesnakes. Watch out for those too. I haven't seen any gator sign out here, so that doesn't mean that there isn't any. Now down by the river, the Witnesses.We River, yes, there are gators in that. A couple weeks back when I was out here, I actually saw a gator. Looks like he was attacking one of those egrets or something in the water. Pretty good size one. Look at about a good 8-footer. As you can see, these cypress hammocks, they're full of water usually. Some of them, with the dry season, you can probably walk through there pretty well, but it has to be like almost like a drought here in Florida to be able to do that. Now, a Sasquatch wouldn't have a problem going through something like that. Just to get to point A to point B. I would assume they don't like the water as much as we do either. You know, I don't think they'll be hanging around in water, especially if they have any kind of cuts or bruises or damage to their feet. You don't want that getting infected, you know, foot rot, that kind of thing. I'm gonna head back this way where I came, check the ground for some more maybe some sign I missed maybe on the way in.